So good morning. Oh, good morning. Good morning. Oh, she's feeling frisky. I had to put her down. This is my cat, Mama. She actually wants time. She waits until I get on Facebook or like today I'm on YouTube. And I said, well, let me just pick her up and play with her for a little bit. She wants more of me, more time with me. Let me just do this like this. And she gets time. She does. We play ball together. I have a bunch of balls that are in the floor. So I roll them back and forth. I throw them and she jumps up and she hits them back to me. You think a cat can't do that? A cat can be trained. And she's well trained and she loves it. She just loves it. And then here I had her in my arms. And I was trying to get her, situate her straight. And she's kind of being frisky and this is it. Because I really wanted you to see her face on the camera. Oh my God. But I had to let her go. But you know what? In letting her go, we still had that little bit of time. We might not have played ball. We might not have just loved a long time, like me petting her. And we had that little bit before we came on, just a bit. But she got down knowing that I spent some time with her. And guess what? She deserves a treat. Give me a minute. Yeah, there she is. Oh my God. You want treats? You want treats, Mama? Want treats? Did you hear that? Do you want treats? She got her treats. Give her a couple of treats. It's something about these. I don't know what it is. Cats love them. Oh my God, they love them. It's like honey to them. So I give her little treats and she's fine. She's right down here. I'm not going to pick her up, but she's eating her treats. She loves it when I shoot out one and she just jumps up and grabs it, or if I throw one down the way, she'll just slide and run and go. She'll run and slide and go and get it because it's fun to her. It's like her and her mommy interacting together. So here we are. Good morning. This is Elise. And it probably is about, I don't know, almost 6 o'clock in the morning, a little after 6, And I've rested well. I really did. And I actually got up with some things on my mind. Oh, my God. Just thinking about some situations and some times that I had with clients, of mine from the time I was like 18, 19 years old. Just amazing times. Not even realizing that at some point in my life, I would have my master's degree and I would have, all of these different skills and stuff, that add up, you know what I'm saying, to the fact that I am, equipped even to a greater degree to deal with different things that people deal with in life. I said it in that manner. Yeah, I'm a professional. But guess what? I'm still me. I'm still me. And life is going to be life no matter how you cut it, no matter how you slice it, no matter how you spread the butter, no matter how you think of it, life is still going to be life. And we have challenges that we meet every single day. Sometimes for people, every waking moment. And it's like, geez, can I get a break? Can I get a joy up break? Can I snatch and steal some joy somewhere? Oh, dang, can I just breathe? And you know what? It all depends on how we see a thing. It all depends on how we process a thing. I said see and then process. How we see it and then how we process it. Because two people could see something completely different. Two people could see it and then process it in a completely different manner. Everybody's view would be different. So for me, in working with these different clients from the age of like 18, 19. Oh, sorry, let me fix that. My experiences then were wonderful, but I was also young. Not saying that I wasn't able or capable. I'm still here. And I'm telling you, having an awesome crew or an awesome crew, an awesome staff of people to work with as a young person, that was like the icing on the cake. I worked for United Cerebral Palsy when I was about 18, 19 years old, maybe something like that, for a few years. And I was actually located at Lafayette, the facility on Lafayette in the Bronx. And we had Falda, Sonny, and I can't think of the other names. I can't think of Neville, I think it is. And I tell you, there was a gamut of clients that we had. I mean, we had some that were in wheelchairs, we had some that were autistic, we had some that were just, developmentally delayed, and then we had others that were, MR, mentally retarded, and then we had just the gamut of the specialties in special needs. Some were idiot savant, some were, bipolar, some were truly psychotic, like really, and some were combinations. So it was a mix, but the facility itself was awesome. In my estimation, I found that to be powerful. Just the fact that there was, this salad bowl, if you will, salad mix of different special needs criteria. But they had an independence because of how the facility was set up that was excellent to me. Workers were there, and I mean, staff was great. Every staff was great. Every shift staff was really great. I mean, of course you're going to have those, but we're not focusing on, because everywhere you go, you're going to find one or two bad apples or one or two seeds. But all in all, staff was together, literally. And you know what? The end result was the, keeping together, and the 100% or close to 100% functionality of the clients. But not only the clients, of the place. Can you imagine having the clients one way, but then the place is jacked up? It wasn't like that over there. Kudos to Arthur Galgo. Arthur Galgo. He was the director. And kudos to the security, Mr. Frank. And I'm telling you, I was just thinking, about a client that I had, while I was there, and just how it was that when we first met, it was a little bit difficult in a sense because we were trying to get to know each other. And she was a nonverbal client. Nonverbal, and she had all the defenses up. All the defenses up. And imagine, not just nonverbal, autistic, on the autistic spectrum. I don't have to go into the details. But seemingly to somebody else, it would look like there's no hope. Follow? Like there's no hope. Like, well, what can we do with this? I mean, what do we, what? And in my view, there's always possibility. It's just a matter of spending a little time. That's always been my take on things. Because the more time that you spend with a person, you get to know them, or you can get to know them a little better. Now, somebody would say, well, what do you mean get to know them? Well, what would there be to know about a person who is nonverbal on the autism spectrum, and looks like they're ready to jump at you? And what is there to know? There's a whole lot to know. They may be in a world seemingly by themselves, but we don't know what would trigger them to be pulled out of that world somewhere else where we could see another kind of showing, another kind of exhibition, so that even if they were nonverbal and they looked like they were in their own world, if there was this certain stimuli or this certain trigger and you saw something different, mission accomplished. So this client that I had, when I met her, taking her to the bathroom, she would go. But she would also do stuff like smear. And I was like, she just got accustomed to doing it. That was just. And then we find out that that's also a defense mechanism, because I don't want nobody near me. Get away. Get away from me, that kind of thing. And for some people right now, it may be very difficult to handle that I'm saying this, but I'm trusting that you'll get something really good out of this. That there's more actually to a person, or can be more to a person than what you see. Sometimes you have to look beyond what you see to really see. So anyway, she used to smear. Now, for some people, that would be turned offish. They would be like, I'm not doing it. I can't. I'm not doing it. That's nasty. Well, these clients are in these facilities because, for the most part, their parents or their loved ones couldn't handle them. Or maybe they were in a situation where their parents passed away, or their family members, they don't know. There's just like a whole lot of scenarios with that. But isn't it a beautiful thing that they could be in this one place and be taken care of just like they were family, and still eat and go to recreational activities and do things together, and the place is clean and they have beautiful rooms and the whole nine. And that place to me was one of the greatest work experiences for me ever in my life, ever. So I had this client, yeah, and she used to do that. And in spending time with her, and learning more about her mannerisms and stuff like that, I get to know, when she was upset, really, when she was happy, really, when she was just like, indifferent a little bit, whatever, or maybe she just wanted to chill out. To me, that was a great accomplishment. Just a great thing, that happened, because I was able to see beyond what I saw. I took the time. So you know what triggered change for her? Music. So at this facility, we had bells, we had tambourines, we had like these are bells too that you hold, the chimes. We had chimes. We had all those little instruments and stuff like that. And I used to take her downstairs in the recreation area and do the bells and the tambourine and stuff like that, just to see what her response would be. And she began to like it. She began to like it. And she wasn't, voided, or she wasn't, just cutting off who she was in terms of her natural response. It's like that did not leave. So, because sometimes she was still going, She would still do that. But, in being with her and being patient with her, understanding that maybe it is that she just wants to be left alone. So you leave her alone with the instruments and see whether or not she will grab or she will take or whatever. Or maybe she just wants to hear it and she doesn't want to do anything else. And then you'll notice, or I noticed that at some points during the day, she allowed me to come closer. So that barrier that she had up was slowly, progressively being torn down. Just being torn down. Because someone was spending time with her and she could trust them. So eventually, she stopped smearing. She stopped doing all that. And I said, come on, let's go get something to eat. And she would walk. And she would go and get something to eat. Come on, let's go take a shower. Got her to the point. Yeah. Go to the bathroom. No smearing. Oh my God, she loved the music. She didn't have a lot of, change in her mannerisms with the music, but she was peaceful. So when I say change, like music sometimes can make somebody just, do something different. But she was peaceful. She didn't have to be like, she didn't have to do none of that. She didn't have to do all that. But she was restful and peaceful. And every now and then she would reach out and touch or grab an instrument. She wouldn't play it like this, but just to touch it. So the smallest accomplishments can sometimes be the greatest accomplishments. It all depends on how you see it. So in order to get her to move from one room to another, it became a no-brainer. It became just like a piece of work to get her to sit down, and do what needed to be done as far as her eating. Not a problem. And even if she stood for a while, remember that spectrum, and she just was in her own world, she was still okay. She didn't have that barrier thing. You understand what I'm saying? She felt comfortable, and I'm doing it like this, like a shield. Comfortable. Comfortable. And that was a great accomplishment. It just really was. And one of the things that I have to mention here is sometimes, parents are so busy into what it is that they're doing that they don't spend time with their children. Let me qualify that. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Do you know that time can go a long way? Even if your day is so jam-packed, filled with work and other things, and 10 minutes, 15 minutes, because all that child wants is you. They just want you. So when you spend that little couple of minutes, it's a joyous time. It's a time that they cherish. Some people say, oh, that don't make no sense. If I'm going to be with my child, I'm going to be with them for an hour or 20 minutes. I would never tell you to trust me. But I would say this. You might be there in body, for an hour or two. But that little moment, those little times that you take out, and it's all about the child, that's what they will remember and cherish the most. Not so much that you took them to get Jordans or t-shirts and jeans and pants. That's beautiful. That's the outward. But when you're working for the goal, or a goal to meet with the inner, those little times spent with things that they want to do, and even just a conversation, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, that's the time that they will be like, oh man, mommy and me or daddy and me, and they'll remember that. And those are the times that I'm most true. When I say most true, it's the truthfulness in you engaging with the truthfulness in them. I want to be with my mom. I want to be with my mom, my dad. And then the truth that comes from you is they mean so much to me. And this is our time. So it's that truth meets truth. I came out of a household where mom gave me everything. Everything. I mean, literally, she gave me everything. And it was beautiful. To that extent, it was. But she didn't have a whole lot to say. Although she wasn't closed-mouthed. But to really like talk about things and what's going on in your life and your mind, or just that, she couldn't do it. Although we were active. I mean, we traveled. When I was younger, I think it was more, more of, not, I don't even want to say a closeness, but just more of an interaction, even though we didn't talk a whole lot. But we did have some good times. And I believe that in her heart of hearts, she wanted to communicate more. But she just didn't know how. And I say that because her life was traumatic. Her life was traumatic. I mean, her mom died when she was 19, and then from that, taking care of, her sibling, her sister that was very sick. And then from her sister to her sister's children at the same time until her sister passed away. So she had to bury her mom. She had to bury her sister. Can you imagine? And then she had these teenagers, but they kind of like went out on their own and did their own thing. And then at the same time, being married at a young age. Marriage was in there, and being in an abusive relationship. And then losing 2 children. And then turning around being told that you should not have any more kids because of this issue. And then here come I. 3 pounds, 3 ounces, 3 months premature, 6 months in an incubator. And look at me today. Imagine that to be all on one woman. Just, wow. And then going forward, just in church, spending time, with the departments, the young people's department, the missionaries, and being right there, Metropolitan AME Church. And that was her outlet. And then she had good people surrounding her. But yet and still, she too was alone. So from the age of 19, oh, come on. But she finished high school. Come on. Not only that, she went to college. She had some skills, yeah. And becoming this grassroots person. So there were some unresolved issues for her. And maybe some of those issues also stemmed when her mom was alive. But we just don't know. And someone being born in the 20s, things were different. And then going through the depression, hard, difficult, with everything else going on. So here it is, in her mind, she has a roof over her head, my baby. She has food. She has clothing. I'm going to give her the world. Give her the world. And she literally gave me the world on a platter. We traveled. I mean, she exposed me to culture. She exposed me to everything beautiful. She didn't hold anything back but one thing. And it's not that she held it back. She just didn't know how to communicate one to one. See, if she told me to get up and clean the house, clean my room, that was cool. If she said, go get my brush, that was cool. But then on the flip side of it, out and about in the street, a lot of what her unresolved and unsettled issues came out when we traveled on the train. I'm 5 years old, 6 years old. And she would come out with some stuff. Like, is that your father? I don't know you. I don't know you, little girl. I don't know who you are. And I would go, Mommy, it's me. It's me, Aunt Miss Lisa. I'm your daughter. Mommy, it's me. It's me. I'm me. On a train. So what am I saying in all of that? She spent time with me on that train. And it was hurtful and painful to a degree. But then it was also satisfying because that's where the conversation, as small as it was, came out. But there was also something wrong with that. Because it's almost like her saying, she don't know who I am. Maybe she don't want me, or maybe she shouldn't have me. Today, yeah, I understand. Losing two and then being told not to have another, and then you have this child. So it's almost like, I love her, thank you, God, but I'm afraid, I'm scared. And perhaps still being in a, volatile situation, relationship-wise, probably when she carried me. It's kind of like a love-hate thing. And then to see me as a reminder to her of perhaps my father, and then maybe my mannerisms. Oh, a lot going on. So many dynamics with it. So we had fun in the strangest kind of ways. And then her racing me when we would get off that train, number 6 train coming through the back to Patterson. She would race me to the building. So we had that little bit. But on the inside, that was outside. But on the inside, it was really like two ships that passed in the night. And I was always like, Mommy, can I do your hair? Get away from me. Mom, can I get away from me? She couldn't offer what she offered outside. Although she was good to me. She was so good to me. Good. She had me on lock. She had me on lock, truly, And I mean, when we went out and did things, like we went bowling, we went shopping, it was a joy. But that was on the outside. But on the inside, it was a little different. And then as I got older, she still wasn't able to say anything. But it just transferred from the inside to the outside. So what am I saying? She might have been expressive with other people, but she would not express anything to me. But what I believe that really happened was the fact that I'm just different. And I'm caring for her like I'm a grown person. And she trusted me. But imagine, she's independent, very independent. So for me to come in at a place where she's now in sort of a little bit of a vulnerable situation, which means that she was open to attack in the sense of not really attacking, but just vulnerable in that I have to make some decisions because now I'm her caregiver. I've been her daughter and I'm still her daughter, but now I'm also her caregiver. She didn't want me to be burdened. She didn't want me to, and she didn't want me to see her in a situation where she couldn't handle because she's always been like what? She's always been strong. So it was difficult. And people will always have their own take on stuff. But I'm not worried because I know that I was there. And today, with greater understanding, I am so grateful for the times and for the experiences, that I had with mommy, really. And just seeing how psychologically she went through. She was going through. And who was there for her to deal with all of that? That was on her shoulders from the time she was a kid, 18, 19 years old. But she entrusted and instilled in me so much by example that I started working at 13 years old. And I was paying rent when I was a teenager to her. She said it. She set the tone, baby. And then I'm working and I'm in school. I'm going to college. I'm doing a business. I'm doing everything. And raising a baby. And here, she raised me. But the difference is she was 30 something. 30 something. And the challenge for her every day, even with her own barriers up in the house, barriers to me, was how am I going to get through this day? And she reminds me of, and I don't want nobody bothering me, just get away. And the challenge for her was me always coming to her to want to talk. Mommy, you know what? And she couldn't. She put that music on, her jazz, and be singing and stuff, and every now and then she would do some funny stuff. So you know what? It wasn't pain. It was pain with joy at times. Sometimes the two were separated. You follow? Times of pain, times of joy. But my solace was at night when I would go and sit right next to her bed and she would be sleeping. Through the night, I was right by her bed like this and fall asleep. She didn't even know. And then I would get up, just, is she breathing? Is she breathing? Is she okay? Because I didn't want to be separated from her. And guess what? I was doing something for her. What was I doing? I was making sure she was okay. She was making sure that I was okay. But I was making sure that she was okay. And sometimes she didn't even know it. I don't think she knew it. And even if she did know it, she was too sleepy. I never heard her say, get up and go to bed. So look at that. There was a dynamic that existed where she was like, through the course of a day. She wasn't on the autism spectrum, but she just didn't want me to be involved in her life and her stuff and her drama that she had, maybe from unresolved issues from way back. So I wasn't privy to anything. So even if there was an issue with my dad, she didn't feel that I had a right to know anything. She would say, "That's not your business. That's none of your business." And this is when I'm older, and I'll be like, "But mom, I am the business. I am." And you would think that at some time, as an older person, she would be able to, and she wasn't. So I would just leave it alone. And then she would write a card and tell me how wonderful a daughter I've been and how she loved me and that God is my father. Lisa, God is your father. Lisa, God is your father. Imagine to do that with two of us. God is your father. Written cards. So what would I do with that? Just believe that God is my father. And you know what? He is. And this is not a religious message, but she raised us both in church. So we got some knowledge, we got some foundation, we got great skills. She set the tone. And that's not to say that life did not come in. Sometimes just, whew, like a whirlwind sometimes. But with all of that, strong she was. And strong we were. But we still had to deal with things in life that, because we didn't have the communication, how to deal with certain things, we became vulnerable. And nobody's perfect. But still, that moral, or those morals that she set, instilled in us, stayed with us by example. So we thrived, we survived, and we are yet still here and alive. So if anybody wants to throw a dagger or say this or say that, you're welcome to say whatever you want to say. But we are human beings too. We're all human beings. So there's some things about you and some things about us that we can probably lock eyes with. But we would still, even if we could lock eyes, we would still have our own perceptions about them, our own views about certain things. And even with that, just knowing that the tone was set the way that it was, and there was no, and still is no book on proper or right parenting, but that mom did the best that she could, instilling in us those things that would help us to maintain and still move forward, even against all of the dramas and the chaos in the world. Those things that we would face. So the client that I had, maybe her mom wasn't present with her in her latter years, Maybe she let her go at some point. But I tend to believe that even though she was in her own world, seemingly, she had some memories. She had some times that her mom was there, that stayed with her. But those people who dealt with her, right, that she didn't really know, of course, there's going to be that barrier. And rightly so. But just to spend that little bit of time and to see her go from this, get away, to come on, let's go and eat, and to walk and go. Or come on, let's go take a shower, and to do that, and to get her dressed, and to take her out into the community. Big accomplishment. So what I'm saying is that there's never going to be perfection with parenting and raising children. Never going to be perfection. But what we strive for is those things, those cherished moments and times that we can implement, plan and implement that are going to mean the world to the child, even if at some point you're separated. Or go with them for a lifetime. And see, separation could mean many things. It could mean they're away at school, they're spending a vacation over here, or they're just not there for whatever the reason. But know that you're still connected. Physical distance, but you're still connected because of those cherished times and those cherished moments that brought about best results for life. So listen, this is Elise signing out, and you enjoy the rest of your day.